This story begins in the sky. Not just any sky, but the endless dark vault above the Nevada desert, where secrets fly as silently as the night winds. It is here, amid the shadows of secrecy and the glow of distant stars, that the tale of John Lear unfolds. A man whose life intersects with mystery, conspiracy, and the unknown. John Olsen Lear was born on December 3rd, 1942, into a world that scarcely knew the extraordinary path awaiting him. The son of Bill Lear, the aviation pioneer and founder of Learjet, John inherited not only a name but a destiny that would take him soaring beyond ordinary limits. From an early age, the hum of engines and the thrill of flight shaped his spirit. A child of altitude, he took to the skies, mastering planes of all kinds. By the time he was 16, he had soloed his first flight. His life was a journey of records and risks, from daring biplane stunts to globe-circling Learjet flights. But the sky, vast and endless though it seemed, was not the limit. Beyond the clouds lay stories covered in shadows, tales whispered among the few who dared to look beyond the veil. Before we journey further, feel free to leave a comment with from what location you're watching this and what time it is there. Now, settle in, as our exploration truly begins. In the mid-1980s, John Lear's world shifted. No longer content as just a pilot, he delved into another kind of flight, one through the labyrinth of classified knowledge, government secrets, and the architecture of deception. He began speaking openly about extraterrestrial contact, secret government collusion with alien races, and covert programs that spanned the globe in silence. His warnings were stark: a hidden world operating in the dark, where secret treaties with alien visitors shaped the fate of humanity. John Lear's words echoed through early online networks, breaking layers of silence that had protected lies for decades. He claimed the US government collaborated with alien beings known as the Greys, engaged in chilling exchanges of technology and control. The stories told of underground bases like the infamous Dulce base in New Mexico, where human and alien forces allegedly clashed. Reports spoke of abductions, genetic experiments, and horrors too vast for casual belief. John Lear, with his pilot's discipline and insider knowledge, became a beacon for those seeking the unvarnished truth. His journey was complicated. Familial ties to aviation royalty contrasted with estrangement and controversy. While his father, Bill Lear, revolutionized the skies, John navigated a different realm, where conspiracy and revelation intertwined. This story does not rush to answers. It does not reveal all truths at once. Instead, it invites you to slow your breath, dim your thoughts, and join a voyage into the unknown. John's early aviation career was marked by remarkable milestones. Flying his first plane at age 14, he quickly proved a prodigy. At just 23, he helped break world speed records, flying the globe in a Learjet in a breathtaking 50 hours and 39 minutes, covering over 22,000 miles. His skills and daring made him a legend among pilots, earning deep respect and setting a foundation that would soon collide with darker currents. Amid the skies John mastered, a hidden flight path was unfolding, one through classified corridors. Between 1967 and 1983, John flew missions for the CIA, a time when the Vietnam War and clandestine operations blurred borders and ethics. These flights were not mere transportation but maneuvers through a world veiled behind government control. By the late 1980s, John Lear emerged as a vocal and influential figure in UFO circles, breaking the code of silence. He posted a detailed statement on early online forums, alleging decades of government cover-ups, extraterrestrial treaties, and sinister collaborations. He spoke out of hidden knowledge, accounts of flying saucers recovered since World War II, covert contact with alien entities, and the secret presence of Majestic 12, a clandestine committee overseeing alien affairs. His revelations injected new fuel into the UFO community, merging political conspiracy with cosmic mystery. John detailed alleged alien abductions, secret hybridization programs, and underground facilities where human and alien agendas clashed. His message was chilling but delivered with measured certainty, a call to question everything, to peer behind the official curtain. John Lear's story is deeply entwined with other notable figures, such as Bob Lazar, whose claims about Area 51 further ignited public intrigue. Lear helped introduce Lazar to journalist George Knapp, connecting strands of testimony that would captivate a generation. Through the 1980s and 1990s, John held roles in UFO organizations, hosted conferences under controversial circumstances, and became a polarizing yet central voice. His talks oscillated between insider exposés and broader warnings about control, surveillance, and the ultimate struggle for truth. Now, as you listen, slowly and with care, imagine the weight of years spent navigating skies seen and unseen, of secrets carried like cargo heavier than steel. This is the tale we unfold, a story of flight, mystery, and the quiet quest to unveil the hidden. From here, the journey stretches outward into cryptic bases, whispered encounters, and the shadow wars between man and unknown intelligence. The night is long, the story deepens, and the sky above is vast, yet filled with watchers. The desert night falls slowly over Nevada, cloaking the landscape in shadows where secrets hide beneath the silence. It is here, under these stars, that John Lear's story continues, winding deeper into realms where truth and conspiracy entwine like the desert winds. After years of breaking records and flying missions shrouded in secrecy, John's path took a turn toward uncharted airspace, the shadow world of government cover-ups and shadowy treaties. His insider knowledge was rare. Few had the combination of aviation mastery and access that he held, but it was his courage to speak out that set him apart, igniting waves of shock and fascination across a restless community hungry for hidden answers. His revelations began, not with spectacle, but with patience, a deliberate unveiling of fragments, weaving a tapestry of secret history that challenged the official narrative. John spoke of a timeline stretching back to the 1940s, a time when the skies first darkened with unknown craft, and a shadow war began between terrestrial governments and extraterrestrial visitors. He described the evolution of this secret conflict, tales dismissed in polite society, but whispered fervently within classified circles, stories of crash recoveries at Roswell and other sites, the existence of clandestine bases like Dulce and Cess4, and the role of Majestic 12 as a silent ruling council operating above public governance. John's voice became an archive of forbidden truths. He unveiled the existence of interspecies treaties, agreements forged in fear and necessity, balancing the advances of alien technology with the loss of autonomy. These were not fiction but living documents, shaping modern history in ways no textbook admits. Among the most chilling accounts were those involving clandestine collaboration with the Greys, small, gray-skinned beings with large black eyes, who, according to Lear, played a complex role as both partners and prisoners within government programs. He told of their biological experiments aimed at hybridization, blending human and alien genetics in secret labs buried beneath the Earth's surface. These revelations sent shockwaves through ufology and conspiracy networks. Skeptics dismissed John as a sensationalist, while believers hailed him as a rare messenger. The divide only deepened as his stories grew more intricate, detailing covert flights, alien bases sprawling under the New Mexican desert, and technological exchanges hidden behind layers of disinformation. Yet beneath the swirl of controversy lay something unshakable: John's reputation as a pilot and his unwavering conviction. For decades he had lived straddling two worlds: the known sky of aviation and the invisible realm of secrets that threatened to rewrite history. In his own words, John described the burden of knowledge as both a curse and a mission. To speak was to invite scrutiny and hostility, but silence was a betrayal of truth. With deliberate cadence he shared what he knew: to awaken, to warn, and to preserve stories lost beneath the dust of denial. At the heart of many encounters he recounted lay Dulce Base, a place of myth, terror, and mystery. Hidden beneath layered mountains in New Mexico, the facility was said to be a crucible where human and alien interests collided in battles both scientific and physical. Stories tell of armed skirmishes between government forces and extraterrestrials, experiments beyond moral bounds, and a chilling nexus of power where secrets multiplied. John's revelations extended to his alleged direct knowledge of Majestic 12's inner workings, their control over UFO information, the compartmentalization of truth, and the manipulation of public perception. He claimed the public received only a fraction of reality, suffocated by misinformation and strategic silence. Through the digital dawn of the early 1990s, John's voice found new life on the internet. Forums, bulletin boards, and encrypted newsletters, where whispers grew into movements. He became a fixture in underground networks, sharing documents, testaments, and warnings about escalating secret agendas. Yet, despite his notoriety, John brought a calm, measured delivery. His storytelling was not theater, but a steady beacon, inviting listeners to lean in, to slow their breath, and to consider mysteries far beyond the mean streets of everyday life. As you absorb these words, feel the weight of a sky that holds not only stars but shadows, the radar blips that never show on public screens, and the corridors where decisions are made that ripple through generations. John Lear's story is not just his own but a gateway, a passage into a vast hidden landscape of flight, fear, and the quest for truth. The high desert air is crisp and dry, carrying with it the weight of stories too long hidden beneath the Earth's cracked surface. Here in the shadowed labyrinth beneath Arculeta Mesa, near the remote town of Dulce, New Mexico, a secret facility lies, one whispered about by those who dare and feared by those who know. This is Dulce Base, the epicenter of some of the most chilling chapters in John Lear's tale. From the mid-1970s through the early 1980s, Lear gathered what he described as first-hand accounts and insider information about this place, an underground installation so vast that its tiled hallways seemed to stretch endlessly. It housed not only clandestine government operations but something darker still, a joint human-alien research complex. John recounted a grim alliance formed around 1969 and 1970 between Majestic 12, a shadow government committee, and the extraterrestrial biological entities known as the Greys. In exchange for advanced technology, the government agreed to ignore ongoing abductions. Claims John asserted were far more sinister than monitoring. He spoke of abduction triads, the monitoring and insertion of minuscule probes into brains for programming, in vivo surgical mutilations conducted without blood or vascular collapse, and systematic harvesting of human tissue for alien use. One harrowing story highlighted Sergeant Jonathan Lear at the White Sands Missile Test Range in 1956. According to John's account, Lear vanished after being abducted by a disc-shaped craft. Days later, his body was found horrifyingly altered, genitals removed, rectum surgically cored, eyes extracted, and all blood drained. But crucially, his vascular system remained intact, suggesting post-mortem procedures were not involved. In the depths of Dulce Base, testimony described immense vats, filled with pale flesh suspended in amber liquids. human specimens animated in unnatural tanks, and corridors where abductees were confined in glass tubes, including infants born under alien supervision. The initial phase of the alliance had auspicious progress. The extremely secretive Groom Lake Test Center was closed in the early 1970s to facilitate construction of the new Dulce underground facility. The technology supplied by the aliens required their exclusive operation and control, ensuring it could never be used against them. However, from 1979 to 1983, the cooperative facade began to fracture. Thousands more abductions went unreported or concealed. Some children disappeared completely, others were subjected to biological extraction and experimentation far beyond official acknowledgement. Inside Majestic 12, divisions raged. One faction argued for public disclosure, believing that the truth would ultimately win and that transparency was necessary for trust and control. The other faction counseled suppression, continuing disinformation, and cautious development of defensive technologies, undercover stories like the Strategic Defense Initiative, ostensibly aimed at external threats, but arguably directed at alien entities. John Lear's investigations uncovered layers of deception and danger. He spoke of covert videotapes showing military officers discussing recoveries of flying saucers, alien bodies, and ongoing secretive experiments. Names of top figures: Dr. Edward Teller, Henry Kissinger, Admiral Poindexter, allegedly appeared within the majestic inner circle, their roles cloaked in labyrinthine secrecy. The chilling reality extended beyond politics into the shadows of the American Southwest. John described cattle mutilations, a gruesome phenomenon documented in media but often ridiculed publicly, as twisted experiments connected to alien research. The mutilations were precise, bloodless organs removed, no tracks or evidence of predators, but too systematic to be random or natural. Despite the ominous backdrop, John's accounts sometimes echoed with a faint hope, the belief that surfaces of truth could rise, that the public might awaken to the reality buried for decades. John's voice carried beyond conspiracy circles. It crossed into the mainstream, carried by journalists and researchers who saw in his testimony a bridge between hidden worlds and awakening minds. Connections with figures like Bob Lazar and George Knapp amplified the reach of his stories, turning whispers into dialogues. Yet the cost was great. Disclosure invited scrutiny, suspicion, and often hostility. John Lear lived under the weight of knowing and revealing what many wished to ignore or deny: the secret alliance, the shadow government's uneasy bargain, the eerie experiments beneath New Mexico's skies, all weave into a narrative as dense and vast as the desert itself. It is a story told in silence, in coded letters, in the brief flicker of radar blips beyond public screens, and in the restless gaze toward a sky that seems both vast and watching. Beneath the rugged, sun-baked mesas of northern New Mexico, hidden from the casual eye and buried deep beneath layers of rock, lies what some claim is one of the most secret and contentious installations on Earth, Dulce Base. John Lear's deep dive into the shadow world of Dulce brought him face to face with disturbing claims, stories that not only push the boundaries of belief, but challenge the very definition of humanity's relationship with what lurks beyond. The small town of Dulce, New Mexico, with its quiet streets and humble homes, harbors a secret few outsiders grasp. Whispers began in the 1970s when a New Mexico state trooper named Gabriel Valdez reported strange phenomena, between sightings of unidentified flying objects darting silently across the arid sky, and accounts of bizarre cattle mutilations scattered across the desert floor. A dark pattern was emerging. Valdez's investigations led him to horrific discoveries. He found carcasses of cattle brutally and surgically mutilated, blood drained, orifices cleanly excised, with no signs of predators or decomposition. Near these scenes, he found evidence that defied explanation: gas masks, glow sticks, radar chaff, and other mysterious debris, suggesting not natural predators but a covert operation. One particularly harrowing discovery was of an unborn calf's fetus. Pale, hairless, and anatomically disquieting. Descriptions likened it to a hybrid of human primate and amphibian. No bones in its skull, a flesh filled with water, devoid of recognizable features. Valdez suspected that the cattle were being used as incubators or test beds for genetic experiments, blending species unknown to science. The rumors swelled when physicist and businessman Paul Benwitz began intercepting strange electronic signals near Albuquerque. His research led him to believe that deep below Dulce, a vast underground installation thrived, a nexus of human and alien collaboration, and what he later called Dulce Base entered public consciousness. John Lear built on these claims, asserting that he had multiple independent confirmations about the base's existence and nature. He depicted Dulce Base as a 7-story complex, sprawling beneath the mesa, with segmented sectors for genetic experiments, mind control research, cryogenics, and storage of alien technology. According to Lear, the base was home to numerous alien species. The Greys, with their distinctive large black eyes and delicate frames, dominated many of the subterranean chambers. He described clinical labs where human and animal DNA were crossbred, where brain implants were inserted under the thinnest skin, and where abductees, sometimes adults, sometimes children, were held in glass tubes like specimens to be scrutinized. The base was far from a peaceful scientific endeavor. Lear, among others, spoke of a violent skirmish dubbed the Dulce War that erupted between military personnel and alien beings. This battle allegedly took place in the late 1970s when negotiations broke down, and both sides suffered casualties. Phil Schneider, a government engineer who later became a whistleblower, claimed to have been part of the base's construction and lived to tell tales of firefights and deaths beneath the surface. Schneider's account described losing fingers in confrontations and detailed the brutal realities of cohabitation with extraterrestrial forces. Within the base's multi-layered security system, tensions simmered perpetually. Each descending level represented a step further into secrecy and danger. Top-tier sectors were heavily guarded with biometric locks and armed personnel, securing the alien and hybrid subjects from both escape and prying eyes. But the implications of Dulce Base stretched beyond genetics and physical security. The experiments reportedly included mind control techniques, invasive surgeries, and impositions designed to fracture human autonomy. The goal was not only to understand, but to manipulate, creating hybrid beings, reshaping biology, and uncovering technologies that might dominate future conflicts. At the same time, John Lear's investigations intertwined with growing public awareness of these underground struggles. His status as a former CIA pilot and son of the aviation mogul lent credibility to his claims and brought fervor to the burgeoning UFO research community. His revelations came with a warning. The world was far more complex than any public narrative suggested. A delicate and dangerous dance was underway, one that balanced technology and trust, secrecy and survival. Faced with staggering evidence and haunting testimonies, those who followed John Lear's journey knew that beneath the surface of the quiet New Mexico desert, the battle for human freedom and knowledge endured. John Lear's pursuit of truth took him to the fringes of belief and the core of a sprawling conspiracy, conditioning the minds of many to question reality itself. His claims about Dulce Base, an enormous underground facility near the small town of Dulce, New Mexico, became central to the lore of alien-human collaboration and conflict. The story of Dulce began gaining public attention largely through the work of businessman and amateur researcher Paul Benowitz, who in the late 1970s believed he had intercepted alien electronic communications near Albuquerque. His suspicions led him to a chilling conclusion: a secret base beneath Archuleta Mesa staffed jointly by humans and alien beings. By the 1980s, these claims had spread within UFO circles and eventually caught the attention of John Lear, who asserted he had independent confirmations of the base's existence and purpose. Dulce Base, according to John, was a sprawling labyrinth built to house various alien species alongside human researchers. The alien residents primarily included the Greys, legendary figures in UFO lore characterized by gray skin and enormous black eyes. The base contained multiple underground levels, 7 or more floors, each dedicated to controversial and terrifying functions: biological experiments, cloning, mind control, and genetic hybridization. Among the darker claims were descriptions of bizarre genetic experiments, blending human and alien DNA. These ventures went beyond scientific curiosity. They aimed to engineer new life forms, hybrids designed to serve inscrutable agendas. Cattle mutilations, long attributed in fringe circles to alien experimentation, were cited as cruel testing grounds for these bioengineering efforts. Tensions within the base were reportedly extreme. Around 1979, a skirmish broke out between human security forces and alien inhabitants, a conflict some insiders called the Dulce War. Phil Schneider, a questionable yet enduring whistleblower, claimed personal involvement in this firefight and recounted graphic injuries suffered in the turmoil. His accounts, though controversial, painted a picture of intense and violent struggles concealed beneath the surface. Security at Dulce was uncompromising. Each level had access strictly controlled. Biometric locks, armed guards, and advanced surveillance maintained an oppressive grip. The base's operations spanned from ethical gray zones into realms more fitting for nightmares: surgical implants designed to control abductees, cryogenic labs, and glass chambers containing living subjects, some believed to be children. John Lear's connection to Dulce was not peripheral, but deeply investigative. His background as a CIA pilot and son of aviation pioneer Bill Lear lent credibility and access as he explored reported tunnels, examined eyewitness testimonies, and pieced together fragments of classified documents, some authentic, others likely fabrications, yet all feeding the growing narrative of human-alien collusion. Despite the explosive nature of these revelations, not all sources supported the alternate claims. Researchers like Michael Barkun argued that supposed alien bases were more likely misinterpretations of Cold War-era military installations and underground missile silos designed for deterrence and defense rather than otherworldly collaboration. Nevertheless, local attitudes hinted at something unspoken. Investigations such as those by independent researcher Norio Hayakawa revealed tensions between curious strangers and local authorities, with warnings to cease inquiries, suggesting knowledge of something hidden beyond public purview. The deeply conflicted evidence from Dulce combines folklore, eyewitness accounts, leaked documents, and bold whistleblowers. It occupies a twilight between truth and legend, where human fears and hopes mingle into powerful stories that shape perceptions of government secrecy and alien presence. John's warnings were clear. Beneath New Mexico's peaceful horizons lies a secret world, complex, dark, and intertwined with human fears of control and loss of autonomy. Dulce Base exemplifies this secret struggle, an epicenter where the human story and alien agendas entwine in shadows few dare explore. Here, humanity confronts not just the mysteries beyond our skies, but the profound depths beneath our feet. No story of John Lear and the secrets he pursued could be complete without a deep exploration of the tangled web surrounding Majestic 12, the shadowy cabal said to govern the most classified extraterrestrial affairs on Earth. The story of MJ-12 is riddled with intrigue, disinformation, bitter factionalism, and a struggle for control over secrets that could unravel reality as we know it. Majestic 12, or MJ-12, allegedly formed in the aftermath of the Roswell incident of 1947. This secret committee supposedly consisted of top-ranking military, intelligence, and scientific figures tasked with managing the recovery of alien spacecraft and entities. According to John Lear and many in the UFO community, MJ-12 served as an unaccountable government inside the government, operating completely off the books. Lear suggested that MJ-12 controlled vast networks of secret bases, including the infamous Area 51 and Dulce Base, managing recovered technologies and alien biological specimens, dictating policies of secrecy and collaboration with extraterrestrial entities that sometimes amounted to coercion or worse. Much of what we know or think we know about MJ-12 emerged through a mix of whistleblower testimonies, leaked documents, and alleged insider contacts. Among these, the so-called MJ-12 documents, a series of memos, reports, and briefings detailing the organization's mission, became pivotal. Yet controversy surrounds these materials. Many regard them as expertly crafted fabrications, intended to mislead, discredit, or manipulate UFO discourse. Skeptics trace portions of the documents back to known hoaxers, while fiercely loyal proponents staunchly defend their authenticity. John Lear himself waded into this fray with potent declarations. He claimed access to insiders who revealed the true scope and scale of MJ-12's operations, ranging from alien biogenetics to hidden technology reverse engineering. According to Lear, the organization wielded enormous influence over government policy, military direction, media narratives, and even global economics. The power struggles within MJ-12, as described in Lear's accounts, were fraught and intense. Internal factions wrestled over how much to reveal to the public, how aggressively to push alien technology development, and how to handle rising diverging narratives, including leaked information from individuals like Paul Benowitz and Phil Schneider. Phil Schneider's story is one of the more harrowing elements in this saga. A former military engineer involved in classified construction projects, Schneider claimed to have fought battles underground at Dulce Base, firefights between humans and extraterrestrial occupants. His vivid recollections included injuries from close combat with alien beings and encounters with hybrid creatures crafted through genetic experimentation. Schneider emerged in the late 1990s to tell stories unlike anything mainstream media would dare print. Despite skepticism and accusations of fabrication, his accounts resonated deeply within the conspiracy and UFO communities. His narrative intertwined with John Lear's revelations, amplifying fears of an elaborate hidden war beneath the surface of society. Within MJ-12's sphere, the concept of sheep dipping also arose, the systematic erasure and modification of official records to protect operatives involved in these black projects. Academic credentials, military service records, even birth certificates could be altered or disappear entirely. This method ensured plausible deniability and airtight secrecy, but came at the expense of individuals' identities and histories. John Lear himself exemplified this concept, his background straddling both the public glare of aviation fame and the shadowy, opaque world of secret operations. His heritage, as son of the legendary Bill Lear, gave him access but also made him a target of discrediting. MJ-12's domain extended beyond Earth. According to Lear's accounts, corridors beneath various secret bases led not only into deep subterranean facilities, but into portals, stargates connecting disparate points in space and time. These Einstein-Rosen bridges, known inside MJ-12 as natural or man-made temporal spatial gateways, were vital for communication with alien factions, and even travel between parallel timelines. The mystical and scientific converged in these corridors. Researchers debated metaphysical implications, while operatives executed covert missions involving hybrids, experimental technology, and timeline interventions. As the decades progressed, MJ-12 found itself increasingly fractured. Divisions between disclosure proponents and suppression advocates grew. The confronting paradox of the convergent timeline posed a dire dilemma. Meddling in time risked ensuring futures of devastation rather than salvation. Throughout it all, John Lear maintained his narrative, a steady voice chronicling what he saw as a monumental cover-up and human surrender. His statements were cautions and revelations, reflections on humanity's place amid a cosmic chessboard where pawns rarely understand the game. His words invited listeners to reconsider not only what is known but what is denied, to weigh evidence and skepticism alike, and to keep a vigil on the skies and beneath the earth. This, then, is the continuing story of MJ-12's Shadow Empire, of battles both seen and unseen, and of a man who dared to shine light into deepest darkness. In the complex mosaic of John Lear's narrative, one thread weaves persistently through each chapter, the saga of covert alliances and concealed betrayals masterminded by Majestic 12, known as MJ-12. This secret committee allegedly emerged from the crucible of Cold War anxiety, designed to shield humanity from an invisible and powerful presence. According to John, MJ-12 was not a mere committee, but the ultimate shadow government, composed of military leaders, influential scientists, and intelligence operatives. It wielded powers beyond any elected body, managing extraterrestrial engagement, recovered craft, and clandestine experimentation with ruthless efficiency. Lear's early public disclosures in the late 1980s painted a chilling portrait on bulletin boards and in banned documents. He declared the existence of secret treaties between the U.S. government and the Greys, extraterrestrial beings intent on genetic manipulation and control. The treaties, he alleged, allowed alien abductions and hybrid experiments in exchange for advanced technologies, toys to cement their influence over humanity's fate. The repercussions of such alliances were stark. John described how children spanning nations went missing, their absence explained away or buried in silence, while their tissue and genetic material were harvested for alien purposes. Laboratories beneath desert mesas hummed with machinery blending man and otherworldly biology. Experiments conducted unseen and often against natural law. John elaborated on the internecine conflicts deep within MJ-12, describing factions divided by differing philosophies, one favoring control through disclosure and technological progress, the other advocating suppression and ruthless secrecy. These power struggles manifested in misinformation campaigns, psychological operations, and violent attempts to maintain order, both within the committee and across the broader shadow state. One of the most controversial revelations associated with John Lear's narrative concerns the Illuminati inside MJ-12, an elite cadre alleged to orchestrate global events, finance covert programs, and silence dissidents. According to Lear, these figures shrouded their alien dealings in layers of ritual and code, imbuing decisions with symbolic weight while masking raw power with arcane tradition. John's own intersection with MJ-12 affiliated witnesses and whistleblowers further enriched his testimony. He introduced journalist George Knapp to Bob Lazar, whose accounts of reverse engineering alien propulsion at the secretive S4 facility near Area 51 ignited a new wave of public fascination. While Lazar's credibility has been fiercely debated, his connection to Lear helped weave a tapestry of shared experience, desperation, and the fight to reveal hidden truths. The path was perilous. Both men faced skepticism, character attacks, and accusations of being the government's agents of misdirection. Lear and Lazar's stories, no matter how compelling, were always shadowed by the potential of disinformation, a strategic dance to keep truth blurred. Further entwined in this web were figures such as Bill Cooper, another vocal critic of secret government agendas, whose collaboration with Lear in the late 1980s brought forward unprecedented indictments demanding an end to the U.S. government's secret alien alliances. Among the most haunting elements were details of hybrid programs, alien-human genetic blends created to serve shadow agendas, aiming to produce beings capable of bridging the cosmic divide or exerting control from within. John described the hospitals, the labs, and the hidden corridors where such life forms existed, caught between man and something else. Within this narrative, cattle mutilations emerged not as isolated horrors, but as symptomatic threads of a systemic operation, designed as tests, sacrifices, or biological harvest sites. These acts reflected the deepening entanglement of alien species with terrestrial ecosystems and human life. John's story did not merely chronicle events, but invoked a sense of urgency, a call to question the narratives provided by governments and mainstream science. It demanded vigilance amidst obfuscation and silence, inviting listeners to stretch beyond skepticism into active inquiry. Majestic 12 and its web of secrets, in John Lear's telling, is a living enigma, a shadow spider weaving webs that connect the stars to the deserts, the skies to the innermost corridors of power. His voice reverberates with warnings, revelations, and an unyielding desire to illuminate the hidden, navigating shadowed halls where science, politics, and secrecy collide. John Lear's story became entwined with one of the most enigmatic and controversial figures in UFO lore, Bob Lazar. Their paths crossed at a critical juncture, amplifying the public's hunger for answers and painting a new portrait of the clandestine world beneath Nevada's desert. Bob Lazar burst onto the scene in 1989 during a television interview with Las Vegas journalist George Knapp. Lazar claimed employment at a secret site named S4, located near Area 51. There, he alleged to have worked on back-engineering alien propulsion systems recovered from crashed extraterrestrial craft. Lazar's narratives described gravity-defying flying saucers powered by exotic materials such as element 115, a substance not recognized by conventional science at that time. His accounts ignited the imagination of millions, and inspired documentaries, discussions, and debates that continue decades later. John Lear played a pivotal role in connecting Lazar's experiences with a broader framework of government collusion with alien entities. Their collaboration forged a powerful alliance between whispered testimonies and dismissed allegations, igniting what some call a second UFO revolution. Yet Lazar's story was fraught with controversy. His academic credentials were questioned. Investigations found no record of him attending the prestigious institutions he named. His legal troubles, including arrest and conviction for pandering, cast shadows on his credibility. Nevertheless, the resonance of his claims persisted in the public imagination. Lear and Lazar's shared narrative challenged official denials, painting a hidden world of reverse engineering, secret bases, and unacknowledged technology, far beyond public awareness. Their testimonies suggested global networks designed to control alien knowledge, shape public perception, and suppress disclosure at all costs. Within this context, Majestic 12 continued to cast a long shadow. The committee's existence remains debated, their documented materials riddled with claims of forgery and fabrication. Yet the iconography around MJ-12, its alleged documents, memos, and directives, has become a cornerstone for many conspiracy theories. John Lear's statements wove MJ-12 into a tapestry connecting Roswell debris recoveries, extraterrestrial treaties, and the suppression of alien technology from the 1940s onward. His accounts detailed clandestine operations enforcing information blackouts, employing deadly force, and manipulating public opinion through films that normalized alien narratives such as E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This orchestration extended beyond government halls into shadow organizations, secret societies, and covert operatives embedded worldwide. The Bilderberg Group, Illuminati, Masons, and others appeared as nodes in a vast web directing global affairs, narratives layered with symbolism and conspiracy. John Lear's voice rang anew alongside fellow whistleblower William Cooper, who offered additional accusations of covert government agenda and alien complicity. Their collaboration highlighted a network determined to expose the depth of the cover-up, revealing not only UFO secrets but also the darkest corners of power. Cooper's controversial book, Behold a Pale Horse, became a cult classic, weaving themes of alien control, government deception, and apocalyptic prophecy with disturbing clarity. His frequent radio appearances further popularized these ideas, sparking bursts of fear and fascination. Yet their work was not without risk. Both Lear and Cooper faced threats, discreditation efforts, and personal turmoil. Cooper's untimely death in a police confrontation only deepened the aura surrounding their quest. In this climate of danger and revelation, John Lear remained steadfast, a pilot turned prophet of the hidden sky, advocating vigilance and disclosure amid a sea of lies. As his warnings echo into modern discourse, Lear's story serves as a bridge between the lonely airstrips of Nevada and the sprawling cosmic enigma beyond, inviting all to look upward and question what lies hidden in the night. The air crackled with anticipation as John Lear stepped beyond mere pilot and investigator into the heart of what would become a cornerstone of modern UFO mythology, the saga of Bob Lazar and Area 51, a tale that rewrote how the world viewed the secret military facility nestled deep in Nevada's desert, and forever linked two voices into a chorus challenging secrecy on a cosmic scale. Bob Lazar's story began in the fading light of the 1980s, emerging from the swirling fog of conspiracy and classified shadows. Lazar claimed, under pseudonym Dennis, in a 1989 televised interview with investigative journalist George Knapp, that he had worked at a secret compound known as S4 and annexed to the infamous Area 51 facility. At S4, he alleged, the United States government housed 9 alien spacecraft of unknown origin, and he himself had been tasked with reverse engineering their exotic propulsion systems. The craft Lazar described beheaded physics as we knew it. His accounts detailed vehicles powered by gravity manipulation, fueled by a mysterious element 115, an element not formally known or synthesized at the time. He spoke of anti-gravity fields, reactors simulating the bending of space-time itself, and craft that moved silently with impossible agility. Bob's narrative electrified the public and UFO communities alike. It unfolded alongside John Lear's disclosures, intertwining threads of secrecy, alien technology, and shadow government oversight. Lear helped introduce laser to map, becoming a bridge that propelled the Area 51 mythos into the mainstream consciousness. Yet Lazar's credibility was hampered by scant verifiable evidence. His educational background was murky. He lacked official records of degrees, he claimed. Employment histories yielded little confirmation. Nevada test facilities and government-related contractors denied his tenure, and substantial skepticism followed. Still, the power of Lazar's story lay not in credentials but in conviction. His vivid depictions excited imaginations and galvanized a wave of curiosity, plunging Area 51 from classified myth into cultural phenomenon. Documents tantalized with glimpses of alien tech, strange craft philosophies, and government collusion, and television broadcasts became stages for whispered truths. The controversial question lingered. Was Lazar a whistleblower sacrificed on the altar of disinformation? or a skilled fabricator crafted to misdirect. John Lear chose belief and collaboration, leveraging Lazar's testimony to support broader claims of alien-human interaction. Together, their narratives painted a tableau of hidden realities where government science intertwined with otherworldly technologies beyond public reach. The implications were staggering. Area 51 was no longer just a military test site, but a fulcrum of alien research, reverse engineering, and secret treaties. Their story suggested that the US government possessed technology centuries ahead of known science, gleaned from recovered alien vessels, and that this power was guarded with ruthless secrecy. Beyond this, the duo's revelations dovetailed onto the long unsolved mysteries of abductions, cattle mutilations, and hybrid genetics programs. Crowds of witnesses described encounters with beings who were neither friend nor foe, but entities locked in subtle conflict with human agencies. But the deeper John and Bob ventured, the darker the path, targets of discrediting campaigns. Efforts to undermine their reputations, and whispers of government retrieval teams shadowed their every move. Their voices became both a beacon and a target, warning of secrets national powers preferred to suffocate. The narrative of John Lear and Bob Lazar cemented how public perception of UFOs, alien contact, and government secrecy was forever altered. Their stories did not just present facts, but invited audiences to peer behind the curtain, to question the official versions told since the dawn of the atomic age, and recognize that reality might be more complex and stranger than imagined. Here is where science fiction melds with shadowed history, leaving us to ask, what price does knowledge carry, and how deep do the secrets truly run? Within this realm of speculation, evidence, and whispered truth, John Lear carved his lasting legacy, not just as a pilot, but as an intrepid herald calling us to listen to the skies and to look beyond the obvious. The story we now unravel begins deep in the arid heart of Nevada, amid its vast desert valleys and jagged mountains, a region infamous for secrecy and legend, Area 51. To many, merely a military test site shrouded in classified operations. But to John Lear and Bob Lazar, it represented something far more profound, a crucible where humanity's greatest mysteries collide. Bob Lazar, a man of quiet intensity and unyielding resolve, stepped into public view, under the protective veil of anonymity, as Dennis in 1989. In a groundbreaking live television interview with investigative journalist George Knapp, Lazar revealed his harrowing and mesmerizing experience working in a black project facility known as S4, an annex of Area 51. His mission was to reverse engineer alien technology, dissect mysteries that could shift power and knowledge irreversibly. The centerpiece of Lazar's story was the existence of 9 spacecraft of extraterrestrial origin, housed beneath the desert, larger than many expected, and defying all conventional physics. These craft held propulsion systems unlike any human invention, fueled by element 115, a then unknown substance with phenomenal gravitational properties. Their power allowed manipulation of space-time itself, enabling near instantaneous travel, by bending gravity and generating localized distortions, a technological marvel shrouded in utter secrecy. John Lear, a man with decades of aviation expertise and an unshakable conviction, was among the first to believe and promote Lazar's story. Their partnership amplified the veil of secrecy surrounding Area 51, ushering the remote military installation into worldwide fascination and suspicion. Together, they painted a portrait not only of extraordinary technology, but of sprawling conspiracies of silence and misinformation designed to protect powerful interests. Lazar's claims, though captivating, faced relentless scrutiny. His asserted educational credentials and engineering history were bafflingly absent from official records. Employment at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and with contractors at the Nevada test site, was repeatedly denied or disproven. Yet despite these voids, his vivid accounts captivated millions, fueling a surge of UFO interest and an unparalleled cultural phenomenon. John Lear's belief in Lazar's story stemmed from more than friendship. It was the culmination of decades spent piecing together a labyrinth of classified programs, shadowy organizations, alien treaties, and secret bases like Dolce and S4. Together, their testimonies emerged as a clarion call, urging the world to question the official narratives long maintained by governments and the military-industrial security complex. The two men's revelations expanded beyond UFOs. They implicated extended alien influence over governments, secret genetic and hybridization projects, and covert abductions. And they wove intricate tales of dual agendas, government factions negotiating power and alien visitors seeking biological resources, technology exchange, and subtle domination. One of the most powerful features of this saga is its unyielding tension between truth and disinformation. Their stories were brushed aside as fantasies by skeptics, dismissed as government fabrications intended to confuse and control by others. Yet the persistent efforts to discredit them only served to ignite further debate and draw more seekers into the abyss of inquiry. Bob Lazar's public appearances after the initial interviews deepened the narrative, including demonstrations of claimed knowledge like describing the propulsion systems or identifying local geological remains linked to crashed craft. He orchestrated excursions into the Nevada desert, where witnesses saw rare aerial phenomena matching descriptions of alien crafts. John Lear stood steadfast by Lazar's side, defending the narrative while adding his own disclosures about deeper governmental complicity and global alien interactions. He wielded decades of flight experience, insider contacts, and a legacy born from his father's aviation empire to lend weight and credibility to their groundbreaking, if controversial, testimonies. Yet the human toll weighed heavy. Lazar lost employment, endured police raids, and lived shadowed by suspicion. Lear faced personal and public battles to maintain his truth amid attacks ranging from character assassination to organized smear campaigns. The tale of Area 51, S4, and the intertwined lives of John Lear and Bob Lazar encapsulates the profound struggle between revelation and suppression. It asks us to confront unsettling questions, not only about alien visitation, but about the systems that govern what we are allowed to know and what remains forever hidden. As this story unfolds, it becomes clear that beneath the cracked desert surface, beyond the radar's hue, lies a saga of technology, power, loyalty, and the eternal human quest to understand the unknown. John Lear's involvement with Bob Lazar marked a pivotal chapter in the saga of Area 51 and alien secrets, forever altering how the world viewed one of the most secretive military installations ever known. The two men forged a collaboration that amplified whispers of government concealment into a broadcast that gripped the public's imagination. Bob Lazar emerged from shadows in 1989, initially as Dennis, his face partially obscured in a televised interview with Las Vegas journalist George Knapp. He spoke of a hidden facility called S4, adjacent to Area 51, where 9 extraterrestrial spacecraft were reverse-engineered to unravel their propulsion physics. Lazar described craft engineered with gravity-defying propulsion powered by a mysterious element, Element 115, long before this element was recognized scientifically. Lazar claimed it provided immense power by bending space-time, allowing saucers to travel immense distances instantaneously. John Lear, with decades of aviation expertise and a history of shadow investigations, quickly aligned with Lazar's claims, introducing him to Knapp and helping amplify the stories. Lear's own disclosures about alien treaties, underground bases like Dulce and mysterious MJ-12 shadow governments expanded public understanding of a hidden reality beneath the surface of official denial. Despite Lazar's vivid accounts electrifying audiences worldwide, his credibility faced hurdles. He lacked verifiable academic credentials, companies and governmental entities denied years-long employment claims. Legal troubles, including convictions for involvement in a prostitution ring, further complicated public perceptions. Yet the power of Lazar's narrative endured. His detailed knowledge, passionate recounting, and willingness to speak out transformed Area 51 from a forgotten test site into a centerpiece of the UFO conversation. Together, Lear and Lazar wove an intricate tapestry that connected government secrecy, recovered alien technology, hybridization programs, and clandestine human abductee collaborations. Their stories invited listeners to question not only the existence of extraterrestrials, but the very nature of institutional control and information manipulation. Starting from Bob Lazar's detailed descriptions of S4 codes, security protocols, and even occasional glimpses of test flights, witnessed with Lear and others in Tikaboo Valley, their narratives ventured into deeper waters, whitewashed memories, vanished documents, and relentless suppression efforts attempted to silence them. Yet their voices persisted among a growing community hungry for disclosure. Lear also linked Lazar's claims with a wider network of whistleblowers and incidents. He spoke about intense surveillance, threats to their families, and systematic media campaigns to undermine credibility. But amid the controversy lay genuine, unnerving questions. What secrets were so dangerous that entire lives were disrupted to protect them? How much had humanity sacrificed in ignorance? In the background loomed Majestic 12, the secret cabal overseeing the intersection of alien contact and government control. According to Lear, MJ-12 maintained absolute secrecy on the recovered technologies and spacecraft. They orchestrated the public's understanding through layered disinformation campaigns, while actively shaping policy behind closed doors. Lear's and Lazar's tales emerged during the burgeoning digital age, leveraging bulletin boards and early internet forums to circumvent traditional media gatekeepers. Each broadcast, document, and interview added momentum to a movement demanding truth, even if fragmented and obscured. Yet the echoes of their revelations reveal broader human struggles. The clash between curiosity and fear, disclosure and suppression, trust and paranoia. Their stories leave open-ended questions about power, morality, and the destiny of species sharing Earth's fragile sphere. This chapter, born on desert highways and broadcast waves, remains a cornerstone of modern alien lore, intertwining pilot expertise, whistleblower courage, and a ceaseless quest to unveil the unseen. In the wake of the late 1980s, the swirling mystery surrounding Area 51 and its shadowy annex S4 became firmly etched into public consciousness, thanks largely to a series of extraordinary claims and courageous whistleblowers. At the center stands Bob Lazar, a man whose revelations thrust the remote Nevada desert into global spotlight. Lazar's tale is a complex weave of technical description, personal perseverance, and relentless controversy. According to Lazar, his employment began in late 1988, allegedly under a contractor working for the United States Navy, taking him to S4, a hidden and often described annex just beyond the borders of the infamous Area 51. There, he encountered 9 flying saucers of extraterrestrial origin, parked in hangars carved directly into the cliffs above Groom Lake. His task: reverse engineer the propulsion system of these craft, a technology so far beyond human understanding. It bent known physics. Central to their operation was element 115, a synthetic element with properties beyond the periodic table, as understood by mainstream science at that time. New horizons of energy manipulation, gravitational control, and dimensional folding were all part of his study. Detailed in his interviews and subsequent public appearances, Lear described how the propulsion worked through gravity wave amplification. Power generators running on element 115 that created intense gravitational fields, effectively curving space and allowing the craft to fall forward through wormholes, achieving faster than light travel without breaching relativity principles in the conventional sense. Despite the technical depth, Lear's story wasn't without personal cost. His credentials were scrutinized and found lacking by official records. Institutions he claimed to have attended, including the renowned California Institute of Technology and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, had no record of him. Likewise, government contractors and labs where he alleged to have worked, including Los Alamos National Laboratory, disavowed his presence. This lack of verification fed waves of criticism among skeptics and some ufologists alike. However, Lear's detailed inside knowledge and vivid recollection carried weight for many who believed in the truth behind Area 51's dust and secrecy. John Lear aligned himself with Lear's claims, believing that the man's story dovetailed with his own long-standing revelations about alien presence, government secrecy, and hidden scientific endeavors. Lear was a vocal proponent of Lear, appearing on numerous platforms to bolster the credibility of Area 51's extraterrestrial connection. Together, their narratives opened fissures in government silence, eliciting responses that varied from tight-lipped denial to widespread disinformation campaigns, suspicious legal entanglements, and unofficial harassment. Lear's supporters pointed to advanced government efforts to discredit him, including FBI visits, mysterious phone taps, and social ostracism. Lear also described multiple test flights observed from the desert, elliptical shapes gliding silently against the starry backdrop, maneuvers defying typical aerodynamics, and lights that vanished and reappeared in impossible sequences. Lear invited select witnesses, including John Lear and journalist George Knapp, to witness these phenomena, together capturing videos showing unexplained aerial objects. The significance of Area 51 and S4 extended beyond secret aircraft. The sites were reportedly hubs of alien-human hybrid programs, genetic experimentation, and advanced mind control technologies. They housed recovered artifacts from crashed saucer events, alien bodies, and an array of unexplained technology that potentially altered the course of science. During this period, John Lear became a prominent voice weaving these revelations into a larger conspiracy framework, implicating secret treaties, abduction cover-ups, and the control of information by Majestic 12. This committee, while its existence is debated, is presented as the supreme authority managing alien-human affairs, alien technologies, and keeping the public in ignorance. The stakes grew higher as more insiders leaked fragmented truths. Evidence emerged of black projects linked with advanced propulsion, psychic warfare, and temporal physics far surpassing what conventional science acknowledged. John's own role as an aviation insider gave weight to claims about secret flights, new craft signatures detected on radar, and unexplained aerial phenomena regularly monitored by military pilots, yet concealed from public records. Though controversy swirled around the credibility of these figures, their combined impact recalibrated the dialogue around extraterrestrial life and government secrecy. From published interviews, classified document leaks, and sporadic whistleblower appearances, a mosaic of a hidden world began to coalesce, one where humanity might be only a fledgling participant in a much larger cosmic drama. The 1990s and 2000s solidified these narratives, with documentaries, investigative podcasts, and online forums expanding the mythology and challenging institutional silence. John Lear and Bob Lazar's stories became enduring pillars underpinning the modern mythology of Area 51, the dark keystone linking ET technology to human governments. Together, their tales continue to provoke debate, skepticism, and wonder, leaving an open invitation for each listener to look skyward, question, and imagine the hidden dimensions beyond ordinary perception. John Lear's story intersects closely with the enigmatic figure of Bob Lazar, whose revelations became a seismic shift in UFO discourse, catapulting secret installations like Area 51 from government obscurity to global fascination. To truly understand their narrative, one must immerse in the detailed timeline of events that unfolded between 1988 and the early 1990s, a period marked by moments of courage, controversy, and relentless pursuit of truth. In August 1988, Lazar purportedly began his work period at S4, the secret annex to Area 51. According to accounts collected by researchers such as George Knapp and investigative author Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell, Lazar was summoned by contractor EG&G, who flew him from McCarran Airport aboard a Boeing 737 to Groom Lake. From there, workers were transported by bus on a perimeter road, heavily guarded and blindfolded into the classified area. Lazar would describe a cafeteria, security protocols, and strict compartmentalization rivaling the highest military clearances. By early 1989, Lazar's contacts with journalist George Knapp intensified. Their initial meetings were discreet and protective, employing pseudonyms with Lazar referred to as Dennis to conceal identity during the first public televised interview on May 15, 1989. The interview shocked audiences, introducing terms such as gravity propulsion and element 115, all alien to contemporary science. Lazar claimed the sport model UFO was constructed with materials resembling liquid metal, almost impossible to manipulate by known standards. Lazar and Lear soon allied witnessed tests of flying objects in the nearby Tikaboo Valley. On several nights in March and April 1989, small groups including Lazar, Lear, and eyewitnesses like Gene Huff and Tracy Lazar observed elliptical and circular objects maneuvering in ways defying conventional physics. The witnesses managed to capture video footage with timestamps, lending tangible data to their claims. However, April 1989 brought conflict. During one observation session, they were discovered by security guards patrolling the perimeter. The group was detained and later questioned by Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies, highlighting the ever-present risks of exposing classified domains. Lazar's clearance was rescinded under obscure circumstances around April 7th, marking the last workday he could officially claim at S4. Lazar's termination was unofficial, never formally announced to the public, but the loss of clearance effectively ended his access. He cited personal safety concerns, leading to refusal to return, fearing retribution. The tension between what was known, what was concealed, and what was denied had reached a personal boiling point. Further trials awaited Lazar in legal and personal realms as well. In June 1990, he pleaded guilty to felony pandering charges linked to a prostitution ring, a conviction that critics used extensively to undermine his credibility. Despite this, Lazar continued to engage with the public and UFO communities, repeatedly affirming his original declarations. John Lear stood firmly by Lazar despite these personal setbacks, amplifying their shared narrative that government secrets and alien technologies interlocked in uneasy alliances. Together they challenged an official silence that extended beyond Area 51, threading clandestine programs, hybrid experimentation, and alien abductions into one breathtaking conspiracy fabric. The consequences of their disclosures rippled far beyond the desert. Area 51, already an infamous subject of conspiracy, became a symbol not just of military testing, but of a cosmic secret hidden from public eyes. Their stories painted a picture of humanity grappling with forces beyond understanding, forces that had shaped history behind a veil of shadows. Yet fragmented as their evidence was, and weighed down by skepticism, these intertwined lives of Lear and Lazar became cornerstones of a narrative whose core remains unknown, contested, and compelling. The narrative of John Lear and Bob Lazar is a testament to the power of secrecy, the human thirst for knowledge, and the enduring dance between revelation and repression. As we reach the closing chapters of this extraordinary tale, the fates of John Lear and Bob Lazar converge as emblematic figures of a quest that transcends generations and defies conventional explanation. Their stories, woven into the fabric of Area 51 mythos, government secrecy, and extraterrestrial intrigue, continue to spark debate, inspire seekers, and haunt skeptics. Bob Lazar's initial public disclosure in 1989 ushered in an era of intense scrutiny, controversy, and lasting fascination. His detailed accounts of working at S4, the shadow annex south of Area 51, captivated a world unprepared for the scale of secrets whispered beneath Nevada's desert. Despite lacking formal proof of credentials, Lazar's intimate descriptions of alien propulsion systems powered by Element 115, gravity wave manipulation, and hidden hangars ignited the public imagination. The film documentaries, interviews, and podcasts featuring Lazar deepened the mystery. Testimonies, such as those recorded in Bob Lazar Area 51 and Flying Saucers 2018, reveal his persistent courage amid threats, surveillance, and attempts to discredit him. Witness accounts confirm seeing objects matching his descriptions, performing impossible aerial maneuvers near Groom Lake. George Knapp's investigative work merged journalism with advocacy, securing Lazar's place as one of the most controversial whistleblowers in UFO history. John Lear's voice, born from a lineage of aviation innovation, echoed alongside Lazar's with equal conviction. Lear's experience as a CIA pilot and son of Learjet founder lent credibility and gravitas to their joint narrative, a tapestry of alien treaties, clandestine bases like Dulce and CES-4, and the shadowy regulatory presence of Majestic 12 behind the scenes. Their revelations spoke of a planetary double game, secret governmental cooperation with extraterrestrials, hybridization programs blending human and alien DNA, and covert abductions conducted with chilling precision. This clandestine world balances advanced technology with profound ethical ambiguity, a future unfolding beneath the public gaze. Yet beyond the controversy, suspicion, and disinformation, the story compels us to recognize humanity's fragile position in a cosmos far vaster and stranger than once believed. It is a tale of power, secrecy, courage, and hope, of men who dared to pierce through darkness to illuminate unspoken realities. John Lear's legacy, tied irrevocably to the modern mythology of Area 51, and the broader search for truth, reminds us that mysteries do not diminish with silence, but grow heavier, waiting for the next courageous soul to seek them out. The story of John Lear, Bob Lazar, and the secrets of the Black World endures, not as a closed chapter, but as an invitation to watch, to question, and perhaps to understand the skies above a little more deeply.